every Tuesday, live from 8 PM UK time. Luke, Gary, and a couple of microphones. This is Custard TV Live.
Well, very soon we're going to have to get that whole jingle just completely rewritten. No, number one, it doesn't mention Matt. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Gary.
And number two, next week and the week after, we won't be on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. So that jingle, pretty much.
That jingle has been on. I think I've been on the show every week. You've had that jingle.
Yeah. I'm just going to turn that jingle off. It's just useless. Memo to Luke. I know you're not here this week. Could you get that jingle redone? Thanks very much. I know you're probably travelling in a car or an aeroplane right now, trying out for the Christmas Strictly or something. But if you can get that redone, cheers from Matt and myself. I'll play the jingle very quickly that tells you how you can follow us on Twitter, and then as normal, Matt can ad-lib his bit afterwards.
Follow us on Twitter at Luke Custard TV and at The Gary Show.
And
at Matt's TV Bites with two T's in Matt.
There we are. That was your cue. Well done. You take a cue very well.
Do. Thank you.
It's all right. How are you? How are you this week, Matt? Are you well?
I'm all right. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. How, on a percentage of 0 to 100, how Christmassy do you feel so far?
54. 54.
54. I've calculated at this point I feel 4% Christmassy.
4%, okay.
Because I've bought no presents, I have no tree, it's not yet December, and I haven't seen any Christmas films or television shows yet.
See, I've seen some Christmas films, Gary. There's been a few on the telly on Sunday nights. Home Alone I've already done.
I did notice the Christmas parade on Channel 5 on Sunday afternoon, so...
yeah.
I didn't watch it, but...
One of those made-for-TV movies that they have on Channel 5.
I think it was a straight-to-DVD special at Channel 5. I love picking those up. Thank you very much for listening. You're listening to, in case you didn't realise it, you're listening to the Custard TV Live. And thank you very much. You're very welcome. Just talking directly to the listeners, as if there are any. Hi, Lauren. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Lauren.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would encourage you very much to search us on iTunes. You can now get us as a direct download on iTunes as this show finishes. And yes, I am banging the table or chair in that sort of direct way that you do to tell you that when you search Custard TV Live on iTunes, it comes directly to your iPod or other downloading equipment is available. Please go to the website, thecustardtv.com. We've already mentioned Twitter. And on the website at the moment, you can join in on the Best Drama of 2012 poll that we're doing. Matt, you voted. Who did you vote for?
I voted for The Bridge, the Scandinavian series, which I really enjoyed. It was a tough one, though. There's been quite a few good dramas this year. So
yeah, 2 weeks ago, we sort of read out the list of nominations that we gathered from Twitter and Facebook and our own kind of knowledge. I voted for The Newsroom, but I can exclusively reveal that as of today, that Sherlock is winning.
Yeah, that was one I thought about voting for. I definitely enjoyed this series. I think some people have forgotten, though, it was actually on this year, because it was right at the start, wasn't it?
Well, that's right. It was right at the beginning. So, someone's just commented on the Twitter poll that we're doing this week. We probably won't be doing a poll on the website, but someone's just commented about the worst TV show of 2012. Someone's just suggested The Gary Show, which, thanks very much.
Was it Luke?
That was someone other than Luke. But probably Luke in another guise. Maybe he's floating around on Twitter. I've alluded to it, so now you can listen to Matt tell you all about the Twitter question and the Facebook question that we've been running this week.
The social network question, perhaps.
Well done. Yes, I like it.
What was the worst TV show of 2012? Now, we've had a lot of suggestions for this, as you can imagine. Some of them quite surprising, I would say. QI and Mock the Week are on there, which I'm quite surprised about. True Blood as well, someone said, which I thought that was quite a well-loved programme.
It is, but I think their point was that it's perhaps gone on too long. Much like what someone was saying about Mock the Week, they don't really think it's relevant anymore, which is interesting. But then why did no one say, have I got news for you? It's been going a lot longer, so interesting.
Yeah, I can understand Mock the Week. It's a different style, isn't it? It's sort of more anarchic than Have I.
And it hasn't been the same since Frankie Boyle and Russell Howard left.
No. And I don't really like Andy Parsons, so...
it's not good for you, then, is it?
No.
Yeah.
And another one I was surprised about when we talked about it just before we went on air, Dad's Army.
I don't know who. I can't quite remember who said that, but I can only imagine that they're fed up with the reruns. But of course, with Clive Dunn passing away recently, I'm surprised that they were. I'll get on to that person. If you know who you are, if you're listening, shame on you.
But I mean, I could switch on and repeat a Dad's Army, and just like it's just one of the funniest things, even now, even though you know all the jokes. I would say, if it's on and there's nothing else on, it's definitely funnier than some of the comedies we've got on this list, or so-called comedies. I think one of the biggest voted for shows, certainly of the ones I had back, was Citizen Khan, which has been much criticised on this podcast in the past.
It could do with a bit more. I feel it could do with some more shellacking.
Has it got
on
a second series as well? And some girls, which we've discussed in quite detail, and I've actually had. On the website, if you look at my review, there's been some quite abusive comments directed at my review.
Really?
Over some, some people who can't really write, so maybe that's the audience for some girls.
That's no way to talk about Luke. I mean, sorry. Oh, right. He does the best he can. Hold on.
You had a suggestion as well, didn't you? An early morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Daybreak. I'm forced to watch this programme because in this household that I live in apparently, you're kind of, it's forced upon you to watch that programme because they don't like BBC News. But, it's painful. What's painful as well is that they've started to forget. Lorraine is kind of obviously taking her television presenting style after me. Sometimes she forgets she's on air and doesn't speak. And it's just awful. What's the other guy's name? It's
Aled Jones.
Aled Jones.
Why is he even on it? He's a singer. He's not a presenter. Really,
although he does do. What's the other thing that he does? He does songs of praise, and he's not bad on that. You can.
Yeah, but that's just doing links between hymns, isn't it? I think it's a bit different to doing like live TV, breakfast show. That songs of praise live.
I'll take your word for that.
Another suggestion I had was Julian Fellowes' Titanic, which showed earlier in the year on ITV, which, for the money that was thrown at it and from the cast it had, should have been a lot better than it actually was. I didn't like the structure of it, the fact we saw the Titanic sink 4 times. There was just nothing good about it. The only thing I liked was Toby Jones, and that was it. I think
we did a lot of things at that time. I think
Luke
and I did a hilarious water-based podcast that you can go back and listen to if you go back and subscribe on iTunes.
I will.
And it's brilliant. Lots of great puns there. There was an awful lot of Titanic programs, wasn't there? At the same time as well, there was lots of things. Yeah, my goodness, I'm looking at the responses to your review. I'm shocked. Some girls are sick in it, man. Amber is hot buffers. No, I'm not reading that word. That's terrible. Groan, some people. And then one that I actually can't read out on this family podcast.
Yeah. They're either illiterate or very racist.
Or they're the writers of the show, or the girls in it. Lovely. This one signs off. I can't read the actual text, but he says, "So shove it up." Brilliant. There you are. Shakespeare.
Some girls' audience.
Shakespeare. Eat your heart out. Sorry, carry on. I just
run through the rest of the
a couple of the dramas, perhaps. The River.
The River.
It was a cancelled ABC show. It's divided people, but it is getting a full series, and I think it's quite good.
Hunted, which we'll talk about in a minute, and Alcatraz, which has been cancelled.
The weirdest one on the list, there were 3 really weird ones. One was Children in Need, which I can understand because they're not supposed to be great television programmes either. They're supposed to make you get your money out. Peppa Pig, I can only assume that's a disgruntled adult who's forced to watch Peppa Pig on CBeebies by their young child. On a loop, probably. And the other was somebody... and somebody put, the Olympics! What? They were great!
Maybe just not a sports fan.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Terrible.
There was a bit too much, I have to say. It wasn't me who suggested the Olympics.
No, it wasn't you that suggested.
Well, I've had a late suggestion.
Oh, okay, go on.
Crime Stories, the ITV daytime show, which is airing currently, and this is from Andrew. He said he does enjoy the random Brookside actors turning up all the time, but he doesn't really enjoy it. I have seen bits of it, and it is a bit
The problem is that I understand the style of it is not necessarily as a drama. It's kind of produced as a documentary when you're looking
documentary.
in. Yeah, so, and I think, hey, it's not primetime ITV, it's daytime, so don't go too harsh on it.
No. I think that an episode the other day had Darren Day in it, so...
Well, then actually, I take that back. Go for it.
Darren Daytime.
Darren Daytime. Of the shows that I think I have to go for Towie, because I still don't see the point of the show, and it's spawned... I mean, am I right? Is there a live Towie episode coming up?
Monday night there will be a live Towie episode. I don't understand that, because I thought it was meant to be their actual lives, so it's live.
What I can't wait for is one of them to truly mess up and go, what's my line? Or something like that. I just want that to happen. It's probably not.
Or break,
I'd really like that.
Reveal they haven't actually got those accents at all and they're actually like...
Yeah. Excuse me, what's my motivation for this part? I don't understand. I've broken a nail. I just go to the nail bar. I don't understand why I would cry. That sort of thing.
And also... along the same lines as Towie, The Valley's MTV's
you mentioned this.
Latest, I suppose you could call it along the same lines as Towie.
Yeah.
It's 8 people from the Valleys in Wales go to live in Cardiff to try and make it big. But they're all really horrible people, they're all glamour models or club promoters, DJs, all these really, horrible people that they probably just wanted to get rid of. Now we have to watch them on our telly, like Geordie Shore.
I was just going to say, I watched one episode of Geordie Shore, and I couldn't find anything strong enough to scrape my eyeballs off of it, so that I could remove the visuals of that awful show.
Okay, but Gary, The Valleys is the poor man's Geordie Shore, if you can imagine such a thing.
America's got a lot to answer for, because they started this with Jersey Shore, so... I blame you. You might have made a good decision on the election, America, but darn it, your television is seeping over here, and stop it. Right, we'll get off this subject before I have a coronary. Let's move on to the news. Now, this episode is going to feature a lot of news because there's been an awful lot of it. So if you've tuned in for the review section and the previews and things, there aren't that many shows coming up in this week. So we'll feature them later on in the podcast, but the majority of this is going to be talking about the news that's coming up. So Matt and I are going to alternate, take a story each and discuss it. So I'm up first, and it's sad news, but the BBC has finally made the decision to cancel Merlin after 5 years. It's kind of like it's the King Arthur story for anyone who doesn't really know, told from the perspective of a young Merlin. We're now pretty much in the kind of King Arthur realm now, aren't we? We're up to the Knights of the Round Table and everything, and they're all grown up, and he's king.
Yeah,
and they've now decided to axe it.
But I did hear they're thinking of doing a film. I think I know there always is when they cancel a TV show. They always say, but there's talk of a film. But they could easily do sort of a film to finish the story if they wanted to.
And interestingly enough, it's not really to do with ratings that they've cancelled this on this occasion, because it's done quite well up against the X Factor.
Like almost 6 million or something, I think. And I think it does really well on the iPlayer as well.
Yeah. So I am slightly surprised. There will be a Christmas special. I
think
believe
that's the finale, isn't it?
That's the finale.
The last
technically,
2 episodes of Merlin are going out over Christmas. So
yeah, and hey, there's been some good people in it, and it's been well liked. So hopefully, and I'm guessing that the BBC will do good business out of box sets. A 1 to 5 box set probably coming out sometime, probably in January or February next year.
Do you not think they might make it available for Christmas? Even though
no, because it's on over Christmas. No, I think they'll hit. There's always a lot of DVDs released in the new year because people get money and and vouchers for Christmas.
I suppose.
So there's always quite a big market in DVD releases in January as well. So, yeah, sad. And I read today that the head of BBC One said he's going to go for something a bit daring now. I think perhaps they've kind of seen that they can compete with the reality shows on ITV
by not having a reality show on.
Yeah, so I think people were assuming that they might try and reschedule The Voice or bring forward or move Strictly. I think they ought to go for a drama show, and hey, it could mean good things. I mean, I know it's a very, Merlin's a very child-friendly show, sort of like a replacement for Doctor Who, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it needs to be another family show, I think. It needs to be a family, because families do watch the X Factor and they do watch Strictly.
Yeah.
So if they had an alternative, something on after Strictly, I think Merlin fit the bill very well, and I think they'll try and do something like that, or like Doctor Who, that can go against X Factor.
Okay. On to you, Matt.
Oh, okay. News this week: BBC4 have announced a lot of new programs and acquisitions, and the main one is Parks and Recreation. The first two series of Parks and Recreation, which is an American comedy, which is very well received in America. I believe it's been nominated for some Emmys over there.
Yeah.
You've watched the first episode.
Yeah, I saw the first episode to kind of see what it was like, because I was thinking of getting a box set, and I quite liked it, but not enough to buy the box set. But I think if it's going to be on, I'll probably watch a few more. It's kind of one of those mockumentary styles where they're working inside a. I mean, what's the British equivalent of Parks and Recreation? I suppose it's like a council. Town council place. It's like an office, so it's very similar, I think, in its dynamic to The Office. Probably more like the American one, but I think it's character actors. It's got a lot of fairly unknown in this country American comedy actors who in that country are very well known, and I think that's going to be quite a hit. And the first series is only something like 8 episodes or 4 episodes or something stupid.
Because the first 2 then, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why they bought the first 2, because the first one is literally nothing. Very different. BBC4 don't show much comedy. We've talked about Getting On, they show that, and I can't really think of another BBC4 comedy, can you?
Think of It started on BBC4.
Oh, that's true, yeah, good point. Oh, yeah.
And they had Nurse Jackie, I think, for a while as well.
Yes,
and that's
Nurse Jackie before it went to Sky Atlantic. So I'm wrong. They did have 2 quite well-known dramas. Thanks, Matt.
That's all right.
Was there anything in the rest of the purchases for BBC4? Is there anything you can remember?
They're mainly new. They're doing like a season about comedy, so they're doing a lot of documentaries about comedy. Right. I think there's something about Richard Pryor. I think.
Oh right, yeah. I think I saw a bit about that.
With your favourite Simon Amstel is doing something.
Lovely.
And Brian Cox, not Professor Brian Cox, but the actor Brian Cox.
Oh, the actor. The best Hannibal Lecter, if people know what I'm talking about, Brian Cox.
And was also in Touch of Cloth earlier in the year, had a cameo in that.
He was indeed, yes.
He's bringing his Radio 4 character, Bob Servant, who's an independent politician, to the small screen in a new sitcom called Bob Servant. So that's something to look forward to as well.
I would have to say that BBC4 is the best place to go for documentaries. They pretty much show one a night.
Yeah.
I got hooked last night on Saturday watching The Story of Electricity for 10 minutes before The Killing came on. And actually, I'm sitting there thinking, gosh, I could have watched this. Like I got there early and just turned it over because I got fed up with the X Factor. More of that later. And I started watching The Story of Electricity, and I was enthralled. And that's the kind of thing that I was shocked. Oh, good one. I felt the power surging through me. And that wasn't quite as good. So BBC4 shows something. I mean, just pick up BBC4 and try it, I think is the way I think it's easy.
Yeah.
The music documentaries on a Friday night are always high quality.
Yeah, Joy of the Single. I saw a little bit of that on Friday night.
Yeah, brilliant.
There was something last night, The Secret History of the Toilet. I didn't take that one up.
I know it's on BBC Two, but I think it was originally shown The Dark History or The Dark Mystery of Hitler.
Adolf Hitler. Yeah, that's...
Adolf Hitler. Wonderful title, but yeah, but they do some weird stuff as well. So, and I suppose we ought to mention, because it's BBC Four, we can mention that Only Connect has started getting up to 1 million viewers on some occasions. I think
both big fans, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think that's ripe for moving to BBC Two, particularly because it would be a University Challenge, then Only Connect. Smart, funny quiz programs. I think Victoria Corrin is highly underrated, and probably should now. She should be getting a better show. So if they can move Only Connect to BBC Two, we can stop her from getting something better.
Because I think the celebrity special they had earlier, earlier this month with Rosie Boycott was on it, and Richard Osman from Pointless, another quiz show.
Yes, he was.
And that did. I think that's done the best this series. I know they've had Ian Hislop.
Was it Reggie Yates? No, there was somebody quite young and hip on that team, and I forgot who it was.
Clark Carlisle.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the footballer. Sorry, yes, that was it. Clark Carlisle.
Cleverest footballer, as they call him. Been on Countdown and everything. So Should we move on to the next bit of news?
We'll move on, yeah. As we kind of hinted at last week, and it's been confirmed by the creator Frank Sponitz, Hunted will return in some form in a spin-off show, but probably not on the BBC. I haven't seen the last episode. I understand from Matt, there was an animated section?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, that going along with the bit in the bunny suit, Hunted really did fall apart at the end. By the sound,
there was just too many secret organisations run by secret organisations run by other secret organisations, all of whom wanted to kill Sam off in some way.
And so therefore she's probably going to be starring in the spin-off show. The top thing is in America that has been well received, and they kind of see it as the kind of James Bondish type, British secret agent stuff. So let them do it. I'm sure it will find a home somewhere, but it won't be on primetime.
They were much more crazy about the hour as well than a lot of people were.
Yeah, I could see. Well, they love Downton, don't they, as well in America? So they go crazy for our stuff occasionally.
Indeed.
In America, reruns of Benny Hill still get big viewings.
Yeah,
go figure that.
True.
Go figure that. Okay, moving on.
UK TV obtains a fourth Freeview channel, which is they already got Really Dave in yesterday. But do we know what the fourth?
No, I'm hoping it'll be Watch, which is their other main kind of entertainment channel. I think that would be really
Gold,
good.
GOLD or Gold or whatever they call it.
It could be, but
because that does actually that turns up on the Freeview planner, or certainly on mine.
But I think it's a pay channel. Wasn't there an option to pay for some Freeview channels originally when it came? When it was originally ITV Digital, which I had years and years ago. Yes, I single-handedly took down the football because I bought an ITV Digital box. And at the moment, Luke's favourite channel, Dave Jarvu, is on it until January. So I'm guessing we'll get an announcement quite soon because January's on the horizon.
It'll be one of those two, though, won't it? Be Watch or Gold?
There's only Gold, and I mean there is. I think they also run something like the Biography channel or something like that. So
Eden,
I think Eden, that's it. I hope they'll go for Watch because I think it could be a nice addition. There's a lot of repeats shown on it, but there's also some good stuff. Covert Affairs is shown on there, and I believe they also show Grimm on Watch, which I like. Yeah. So I think there could be some good stuff if they can get that out of the way.
It'll be Alibi though.
Well, that would be huge because there's a load of great stuff on Alibi. Yeah. So yeah, oh gosh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, lots to think about. So that's a good news story, I feel. Yeah. One of the bigger news stories this week, one of the main ones, is that the BBC have decided to announce a couple of new drama commissions for 2013. Up to 31 hours of new drama was announced by the controller of BBC Drama, Ben Stevenson, who, according to Matt, looks an awful lot like
Michael Sheen.
Thank you very much. Not Charlie Sheen, but Michael Sheen. Not Charlie Sheen. Or Emilio Estevez.
It could be Michael Sheen, because he does play a lot of people. He plays a lot of real-life people, so maybe...
Maybe Michael Sheen is actually playing Charlie Sheen in real life, and we just haven't noticed. I don't know. We're winning. Right, a little bit about the dramas that we have seen. I mean, certainly what we've not seen is any previews yet. Those are to come. I think these are really just telling you about what's been bought and what they're looking to do. But a little bit of description. We won't go too much. But first up is What Remains, is a 4-part serial written by Tony Balsgallop, who did Inside Men, which was the drama last year which starred Warren Brown, wasn't it?
I think it was earlier this year.
It was earlier this year, so this was January. About a bank heist, was it? An inside job bank heist, which was quite good.
Ashley Walters and Stephen McIntosh as well, I believe, were in that. Yeah.
So a little bit about it is that the body of a 30-year-old woman is found decomposed in the loft above her flat 2 years after death. How did no one see her? And is her killer still at large? And it doesn't really suggest it's either like a police procedure. It seems like it is going to follow that sort of, a whodunit. It says it's a state of the nation whodunit, so I don't really know what quite that means. But that sounds interesting, doesn't it? I mean, that's, the premise is quite good. Next is The Escaped Artist, a 3-part series written by David Wollstonecraft, one of the Spooks writers. I'm not sure whether he's a good Spooks writer or a bad Spooks writer. It's a lawyer type. It said Will Burton is a talented junior barrister of peerless intellect and winning charm, who specialises in spiriting people out of tight legal corners. He is in high demand as he's never lost a case, but his talents acquit the notorious prime suspect in a murder trial, and his brilliance comes back to bite him. Now, I have to say that does sound a little bit like a formulaic crime story, much along the lines of something like the Lincoln Lawyer film. Which is a series of books written by Michael Connelly that I absolutely love, and it does sound a little bit similar. And of course, there are links over there. There's a little bit of silk written into that. It depends how it goes, but I think we'd have to give that the benefit of the doubt, wouldn't we?
We don't know who's in them yet, of course, as well.
No,
so.
They don't give us a lot of names. They just really give us it written. The Great Train Robbery, I'm beginning to think we're seeing a lot of that, thanks to the fact we have Mrs. Biggs on ITV. I won't tell you much about this because you know it. A 2-part 90-minuter, though, so that could be over quite quick, so could be good. Another one will be Happy Valley, a 6-parter written by Sally Wainwright, who's currently writing Last Tango in Halifax and has written on Scott and Bailey. This sounds like an oldie kind of production based in Yorkshire. Catherine Crowther is the sergeant on duty when a flustered, nervous-looking accountant comes into a West Yorkshire police station to report a crime. He is reticent about detail and loses his nerve, and it sounds like a plot to kidnap his boss's daughter. It sounds like it could be awful, actually. I haven't sold that one.
Although Sally Wainwright is very reliable, I would say. I mean, Last Tango is very good. Again, in Yorkshire. Scott and Bailey... Unforgiven, I think she did as well with Saran Jones.
That's right.
Years ago.
Yes.
So she's got a good track record. So again, you'd give her the benefit of the doubt and see what she comes up with, because she's got one
that caught my attention out of them, and this is one of those things where you read something and you think, wow. By Any Means, a 6-parter, a thrilling drama follows a covert police department. They've got me already. When the legal system fails, they go to any lengths to bring the criminal elite to justice. Now, for me, that is how you sell a TV show. I'm watching that programme already in my mind.
But I would like to say, Gary, when you previewed the autumn TV, what did you say you were looking forward to the most?
Yeah, okay, good point. Hunted. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And also we ought to mention that they have announced that they're doing a 7th series of Inspector George Gently, 4 90-minute episodes. It's not for everybody, but it's a programme my dad loves, so you can't really knock it. So those are some of the new BBC. Well, you can, some of the new BBC drama acquisitions there. Okay,
with Channel 4 as well have acquired World Without End, a sequel to Pillars of the Earth, which is a bit Game of Thronesy. Is that right? I've never seen. A little bit.
It wasn't anything up to scratch Game of Thrones but I mean, it was kind of in that kind of era, that kind of genre.
8-part miniseries that is, and it premieres early next year.
Okay. Watch, that TV channel that we were talking about, have announced a premiere date for Beauty and the Beast. That's going to be shown on Wednesday, the 16th of January. It stars Christian Crook, who was previously in Smallville, and it's similar to Grimm and Supernatural. So it's another CW network show. They tend to do quite well over here. Arrow's doing quite well on Sky One, so something to look forward to in the new year.
Okay, Sports Personality of the Year nominations.
Gosh, talk about a hard decision. This is the hardest decision you will ever have to make, apart from the poll for Best Drama of 2012 on the Custom TV website. Indeed. Get voting.
So, I mean, I can say the names, but some of them mean nothing to me.
I can tell you, I'm familiar, so if you read the name out, I'll tell you what they did.
Well, I know Jessica Ennis is. She runs a bit, doesn't she?
Britain's Golden Girl.
Yeah, Andy Murray, tennis, I know that one. Chris Hoy.
He won't win. He won't win because he didn't win Wimbledon. Okay. Yes, he won a major, but he won't win this year because he didn't win Wimbledon.
So Sir Chris Hoy, the bicyclist.
Yes.
Mo Farah, I know Mo Farah won
the bicyclist. I don't think his sexuality is up for question, really, Matt. But carry on.
Mo Farah, is that for winning the cube? I assume.
No, that's mostly for winning the cube, not for his 2 gold medals, though.
Okay, good. Only person to ever beat the cube, so that's an achievement. Ben Ainsley. Now, is that
if it was on ITV, he'd win. So Ben Ainsley is the yotter. He's won. He's a bit like Sir Redgrave. He's won a gold medal in 4 consecutive Olympics. So
Sarah Story. I've got no idea who she is.
Is another cyclist. I think she's one of the Paralympians.
Okay, Nicola Adams is the boxer. I know that.
Yep, the first female British gold medalist boxer.
Okay, Rory McIlroy.
That's just for going out with the world's #1 tennis player. I don't think it's got anything to do with his golfing achievements.
Okay, golf.
So
Ellie Simmons is the Paralympic swimmer.
Yep.
David Weir, you're going to have to tell me.
He's the Paralympian that won an awful lot of medals. He won a medal in the sprint and the marathon in the Paralympics in a wheelchair. The guy is incredible. Absolutely incredible. But he won't win.
I know who he is.
You do know,
yeah. It's just the name, but I know who you mean. Catherine Granger.
She was the woman who had always won silver in the rowing and for the first time ever managed to win gold.
Oh, brilliant.
She won't win either.
You reckon Bradley Wiggins will win?
Well, here's what I think. I think Jessica Ennis will get a lot of votes. Particularly when the BBC starts showing you all that happened. Because let's face it, that night with Jessica Ennis and Mo Farah was one of the greatest sporting nights of ever in history. But I think all the men will pick up their phone and vote for Bradley Wiggins. He's a man's man. He says what he thinks. And he won the Tour de France and he won a gold medal at the Olympics. Okay, he didn't win the road race. He won the time trial, not the road race. There was a slight thing there. I think Andy Murray will come third because I do think there's a lot of tennis fans out there. I personally think it will be Ennis second, Wiggins first.
Okay. And I've got no real... Mo Farah, because he won the cube.
Well done, yeah. Just for the cube, yeah, great. It's me next, isn't it? Right, the bigger news TV-wise of the week is that ITV have commissioned a 4th series of Downton Abbey, but the big news is that Dan Stevens is going to leave. Now, I'm not familiar with the programme. Dan Stevens, is he upstairs or downstairs?
He is upstairs. He plays Matthew Crawley, who recently got a lot of money to get Downton out of debt.
Right.
And he married the eldest daughter, Lady Mary. And he's now said, though, that he wants to move on. I think he's on the stage on Broadway at the moment. And what he said, he's going to do the Christmas special. And he's probably going to be in the first episode of Series 4. So it's whether or not they decide they want to either split him and Mary up, which the fans wouldn't go for that, or kill him off. Because they killed off one of the family members in the last series, which was a shock to everyone, actually.
Now, there was a couple of people I saw ringing around saying, are they going to kill off Dame Maggie Smith's character?
I don't know, because she keeps saying she's going to leave, but I reckon it's because she's not in it a lot. Downton. It's a good little,
she's a cameo kind of role, but
yeah,
a bit more than that, probably.
A bit more, yeah, extended cameo every time she shows up. Like, would you call it like a scene stealer? I suppose every time. She shows up, yeah.
Like Luke would like to think he is on this podcast, but we know the truth.
But every time she turns up, I don't think she's ever has like a big story. All the stories sort of go around without her, and she'll just pitch in on one of them from time to time, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
So we'll move on now. Alibi, as we mentioned, Alibi earlier, sets a date for the Glade Series 2, which would be January the 29th.
Coming right hot on the heels of Series 1, which is showing at the moment, or is just finished showing. So that's good for anyone that's watched that series, that the second series is going to be, because I think we're into like the 4th series in America.
Oh, okay.
They got onto this one quite late. And talking of shows that we mentioned last week, ITV2 is going to show the cancelled drama 666 Park Avenue. I still haven't managed to do much research on this one, I'm afraid. I do apologise. Did you have a look?
I think I saw the trailer for it when it was announced.
Oh, right.
It's got the guy who played John Locke in Lost.
Oh, right, yes.
I think Vanessa Williams, I think the actress's name, from Ugly Betty.
Oh,
who
right.
played
okay.
Wilhelmina Slater in Ugly Betty. And they play a couple who live in an apartment block in New York. And they're meant to be like the devil and his wife or something like that, and try and sort of tempt young couples in.
Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That was cancelled. See if you can work out why.
I'm sure it was explained a lot more eloquently than I just did, but
I don't think it was, and I think we now know why it's been cancelled. It's you next, sir.
Okay, Dave, not Deja Vu, sets dates for Suits Series 2, which is on the 24th of January.
This is one I'll be looking forward to. I really love Series 1. This is kind of like a buddy cop drama set in a lawyer's firm. It's fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to Series 2, which is longer, but will be cut into 2 parts, or it was in America, so it'll be interesting to see if they do the same thing over here. I think Part 2 is just about to restart in America.
Yeah.
And we probably should have switched these two around, because basically you're
sure.
talking about a show I like, and then I'm going to talk about a show you like. But fans of Fresh Meat, of which Matt is one, will be happy to know that I believe Jack Whitehall tweeted that there will be a third series, but I think since then it's been confirmed, hasn't it?
I think Sam Bain, one of the writers, also mentioned it. He was doing a Q&A, and
Excellent.
he mentioned it. But Jack Whitehall said that he'd like it in a better slot next time round, which I would agree with. I think the perfect time for it would be on a Friday night at 9 o'clock. I think that's when it will get a lot of viewers. 10 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Although 10 o'clock on a Sunday does appear to be a slot that Channel 4 are trying to edge comedy into. We had Friday night dinners, and now we had Peep Show.
But Fresh Meat's more. I think they see it more as a comedy drama, and it's an hour long. So I would say if it put in maybe in the slot where like 8 out of 10 Cats is, that's 9 o'clock on a Friday, isn't it? Or Alan Carr or whatever's on there. That's what I would say anyway. But yeah, Fresh Meat, one of the best programs of the year, I would say. Just brilliant every episode this series. So I'm glad it's getting a third series.
Brilliant. We have a whole section on BBC Christmas lineup, but I think we're going to save that for next week, because there's about 9. Well, yeah, there's about 9 minutes left in the show, and we want to talk to you a little bit about some of the shows we're watching. So, just so this is mostly just an on-air production meeting between me and Matt. We'll save that for next week. Okay, Matt.
Okay.
So, if you'd like to move on to the review section, please.
Okay. We'll do all the reality shows. So we just talk a little bit about those.
Yeah.
So Strictly, which you're still watching.
Yes. Thankfully, at last, that Pendleton left.
Pendleton pedalled off into the sunset.
Nice, like it.
But yeah, she never ever looked like she was enjoying herself at all. No, it's like you dancing.
I think that was half the. I think that was the problem. The fakes, the smiles look so fake, and even in the rehearsals, she just looked like a moody so and so.
She obviously just. I think she's someone that if she can't do something, she won't try. I think because she's so. She's got that attitude about her, obviously. Yeah, being a cyclist and stuff, and
I don't think that putting her with Brendan was particularly good, because he's less of a dancer, more of a show off.
He's not one of the better teachers, because I always think who the better teachers are on that show, and I would say it's Natalie, who's with Michael Vaughan, because he's come on ever so well.
I'd be very happily taught by her,
and also Robin Windsor, who's with Lisa Riley, Again, he seems like someone who tries to get the best out of his partners, because he's always been dealt quite not a bad hand, but not the best. And
I must admit, when he got Lisa Riley, there were probably a few people thinking at the beginning, oh well, it's like when you got Johnny Ball, you're like, oh, you'll get to week 3 if you're lucky. I mean, Lisa Riley has been the surprise and continues to do very well. I think the main thing really is that it's almost looking like a Denise Van Outen sweepstake. Whitewash. I used the wrong.
I don't know though. You see,
because she's getting 9s and 10s on a regular basis now.
Gary, I know you've not watched Strictly before. In the final, it just goes on the public vote, so it's got nothing to do with the scores.
But we don't know how she's done in the public vote, because of course she's never had to be in the bottom 2 or anywhere near it. As far as we know, they don't release the voting. I don't think
she's going to win still. I will put my money on Danny Harmer or Louis Smith winning. That's who I reckon.
Okay. All right.
I would still say. And you said Kimberly Walsh as well, are you not?
Well, I said Kimberly Walsh, but that's a preference on my part, I'm afraid. But it doesn't appear that the public... Michael Vaughan was in the bottom 2 this week, and, I think that shows you that even how well he's doing, I don't think he's got the public backing.
He got a poor mark, though, didn't he? Because they didn't like his tank face.
I think as well he's in trouble. And I think so's the guy out of Westlife. Yeah. I don't think he can dance either, thankfully.
He had a good week this week. He got on 9s.
Yeah, he got 9s, but I just don't think he can dance that well.
Right, X Factor then, which you're not watching anymore.
Yeah, I have officially, ladies and gentlemen, given up on the X Factor. No, it's not because I like Ryland Clark. The show was soulless this week. It felt like even they admitted, my goodness, we made a horrible mistake last week with Ella. Let's try and put on a brave face and sing 2 songs. And everyone was just like, oh, do I have to?
Apart from when James Arthur's on, because you're like, you can actually believe him as an artist. Everyone else. I mean, Jermaine just does nothing for me. He leaves me completely cold. And I know I get a lot of abuse for this, but I can't warm to Jermaine. Christopher, we've talked about before.
Jermaine's a great guy.
Yeah.
I can see what, and it's a great story. You know, he's a Gareth Gates type story. You know, someone who is shy and retiring, and singing has brought it out of him. But I think James Arthur should win. But I have a horrible feeling it's Christopher Maloney. And they've really skewed.
No, I don't. I think Jermaine's going to win. That's who I would say will win.
Yeah.
I think Jermaine will win. Christopher, it's odd. I'm not sure who's going to be out this week. Have you
noticed the negative press about Christopher? There was a story in the press at the weekend, just before the voting, ironically was due to close in your Sunday papers, about him formally strangling or attempting to strangle a fellow contestant or a fellow person on the boats, on the cruises, a fellow singer. And I just think, gosh, are they really raking this stuff? Does Simon Cowell hate him that much?
I would say someone next week, maybe Louis Walsh, should say, "Oh, Christopher, with that performance, you really took my breath away."
Yeah. You remind me of a young Lenny Henry, or something else equally racist, like Louis has a passion to come out for. No, I'm going to say Union J going this weekend, and I think J-Mo will win as well.
It depends. If they know Christopher's in a bottom two, they might just do another sing-off just to get rid of him. Because they don't usually do a sing-off at this time. They usually just...
All I can say is there must be a lot of poor Liverpudlians out there whose phone bills are coming through very soon, and they're going to get a shock. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Should we do a little bit on I'm a Celeb? I don't know. You're not watching that, are you?
You have 3 minutes and 45 seconds, so...
Okay. I'm a Celeb. Helen Flanagan went last night, bit of a surprise. I know Lauren Jones doesn't like her very much, so she's happy about that. Colin Baker's gone. Eric Bristow's still there, and I think David Hayes is the favourite, with Brian Conley obviously cancelling on us last week.
Well, that's right. He no longer gets our vote.
Do you want to mention Sky Living?
Indeed, just very quickly, a couple of shows that we've been talking about in the past and that I'm still watching. Chicago Fire is part of a double header now with Grey's Anatomy that Sky Living are calling Emergency Wednesdays, and equally with the I quite like it Elementary, they're putting that together with Bones and calling it Crime Tuesdays. These sort of things work quite well. Sky did this with NCIS LA and Hawaii 5-0 on Sundays and called it kind of Action Sundays, and I think that works. It's an American idea to kind of put these shows together, but I think it works quite well.
Yeah. Should we have a talk about The Hour, because we've both seen that?
Quick talk about The Hour.
With Hector this week getting arrested for beating up the young showgirl played by Hannah Toynton.
Yeah.
What did you think of that story?
I thought that was quite interesting. I mean, it's obvious that it's a play by the club owner to exploit him.
And the copper as well, wasn't it? It was the police officer who did it.
The interesting part that I found about it was that his wife, instead of going and bailing him out, was doing an audition for a new television programme that looked like a kind of like a lone come dine with me. It was quite interesting.
I really like the actress who plays his wife. I think she's fantastic. Una Chaplin, her name is. I think she's fantastic in it. I think and obviously the other story they're going with is the racist, the racist beatings and
the EDF or whatever it was called, and that's an electricity company. Sorry, I'm not libelling them. The British Defence League or something like that. Very interesting, that bit where he put them on television. I thought that was very telling.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good bit. I always like the bits on The Hour where they're actually about the news programme. Yeah. And it's when they go away from that and they do something silly, like the stuff with beating up the showgirl. I know it's going to play into the whole arc of the show, but I really just prefer the stuff where, they do the news stuff, because that's, I think, what The Hour should be about, first and foremost.
Indeed. We have just over a minute left, so let's do 20 seconds each. Right, okay. Secret State, I'm still watching. It's good. Gabriel Byrne is very good in it. Third of 4 parts is showing this week, so people need to get on that, and I believe it's going to be on 4OD for quite a while. Do you want to talk very quickly about Last Tango in Halifax?
Well, Luke did that last week. I'll talk about Peep Show instead. Peep Show,
Peep Show, yeah.
Still funny, but very samey. Mark's now trying to get Jez to move out so he can move Dobby in. Jez once had therapy.
Dobby the house elf?
Dobby the house elf, yes.
Yes.
No, Dobby is girlfriend.
Oh, the music's finished, but we still have 30 seconds left. Oh dear. Don't tell Luke. Just don't. When he asks, just don't tell him. Right, we have exactly 30 seconds left, so let me tell you very quickly. There are 2 new shows coming up before we see you next week. An Idiot Abroad 3, which now stars Warwick Davis as well as Carl Pilkington, starts on the 30th of November. That's Friday, 9 p.m. on Sky One. And next week, we'll probably talk about this a bit more next week. There's a 5-part drama showing every night next week called The Fear on Channel 4 at 10 o'clock. We'll talk about that next week. Next week's show is on a Monday.